Good evening, good evening. Welcome into another edition of the Cavalier Connection podcast. I'm your host, Jack Lowe, joined as always by my dad, Jeff Lowe, and Jay Ballard. How we doing tonight, fellas?
Doing great.
Good, doing good, doing good. I noticed a big change as we see how many viewers we have at the start. Now that our X account has been demolished, we're currently at zero. So hopefully, people are about to tune in. But normally, they start jumping because of the X. And I mean, Elon, I'm highly disappointed in you. Twitter, I'm highly disappointed in you.
So needless to say, our X is still suspended. The appeal has not gone through yet. We haven't gotten word, so it's not officially demolished, but it's not looking very good. So please check out all of our stuff on Facebook and YouTube because we're still all over the place there. Hopefully this X situation gets figured out, but the three of us aren't very hopeful, but hopefully
Somebody is in the show. Thank you for joining us.
hopefully we'll figure this out. Goodness gracious! Happy Hate Week Part One. We got our first true rival of the year, the South Solstice rivalry. The first matchup took place in what year? 1892. That's why it's called the South Solstice rivalry, where Virginia won that game. I think UNC leads the all-time series by about 10 games or so. And this will be the 130th all-time matchup. So we're previewing that tonight. But first, I want to remind all of you that this episode tonight is brought to you by Mincers. Get all of your Mincers gear. This t-shirt I bought at the beginning of the season from there. Looking great. I love the diamonds and everything. And there's so much. I think that white t-shirt Jay's wearing is Mincers.
Oh,
There's
for sure.
so much great stuff
Sure.
from Mincers and printed sportswear. So you definitely want to go check them out over on the corner where you find all your other stuff, or at the Stonefield Shopping Center. They've got anything you need. The t-shirts. It's starting to get a little crispy outside, a little cool. You wear the hoodie, get your jackets, get your beanies. A lot of people like to wear beanies to the football games in the winter or early winter time. So you definitely want to go check them out. And coming up tomorrow night, UVA exhibition basketball coming up. So you get your basketball gear. They have the I don't have mine on right now, but the basketball jerseys there are excellent as well. You get the orange ones. Definitely go check out Mincers or check them out online at mincers.com. With that being said, let's preview the University of North Carolina, UVA going on the road to Chapel Hill for what should be a fun one. I think last I checked, they were 10.5 point favorites in that one. So, and I think I read somewhere the last time UVA was double digit favored in an ACC game. I might have read this wrong. It was against Pitt in 2019, which was the first game of the year. That could be wrong, but
I think you're right. I think I saw the same thing.
I just can't remember if that's the exact data it was or whatever. So now that the adrenaline has worn off a bit from Saturday, we've had a couple more days to think about it, a couple more days to look at what truly happened. Number one, do you guys feel any better about this team? And now that a couple days have passed, are you still really concerned coming into this week? What are the thoughts, Jay?
I'm still pretty nervous. I guess until I see it. I want to see the offense righted this Saturday. UNC's got some playmakers. They're down, not having a great year. Obviously, I think they had some pretty high expectations bringing in Bill Belichick, as you would expect. I mean,
Unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, I mean, they're looked at as, he's looked at as the greatest football coach of all time, at least in the NFL circles. So having him come to college, I think a lot of people just thought, yep, this is going to happen. And UNC is just going to be good magically. But they lost it was a huge turnover roster wise, even more so, I think, than us. And so I don't know the exact number of new players that they brought in, but I know it's a very large number. You got an all new coaching staff. The NFL mentality. Belichick's in his how old is he? 74?
73, I think.
73.
Somewhere.
So I mean, you're talking about a guy who's trying to connect with guys that are, NFL. You're an established adult, even though you're still young. College, you're getting guys. I mean, they might be adults by age, but you know, it's a different ball game of a person for the most part. But I don't think that the experiment is working. So I really just want to see the offense come out and establish the run, get Chandler back. Let's see some accurate throws. Let's move the ball, and then defensively, let's be opportunistic. Let's force some turnovers. Let's play 2 halves of football, not just one. If we can do those things, we'll be fine. But I am concerned. I mean, until I see another strong effort, I gotta see it.
Ted.
Yeah. No, I have some concern. It's a rivalry game. It's the ACC conference game. The last couple of games we've struggled a bit on offense, but the one thing looking at North Carolina, I'm hoping the tackling. I hope we tackle much better this week, because North Carolina, their passing offense is ranked last in the ACC, and I think that's been one of our weaknesses, is the pass defense. So hopefully, it's a get right game for our defense and not a get right game for their passing attack. And uh, their rushing games, nothing special. So I'm excited to see what this defense does against this team. And I just think if we just make the tackles, we can handle business on Saturday. But tackling's been a concern.
Yeah, definitely. Something I want to bring up. It's slightly off topic, but slightly on topic. I want to give credit to the person who came out with it on X. I thought it was really interesting. Bud Davis is the one. This sheet here that has a lot of data. It's a little bit hard to see. It's not very zoomed in. A lot of data concerning UVA's offense so far this year, and I think it's really interesting when you look at some of the success rates of some of these formations, some of these sets that they're running with, and so really, when you look at it, passing and running, designed runs, that is pretty even on what Virginia's running. Both have been about equally successful. Uh, when you talk about personnel, they've been most successful in 12 personnel, meaning that that's 2 receivers, 1 running back, 2 tight ends. But Virginia hasn't gone to it as much because I think the main reason, Twitty being out, now John Rogers is your backup, which I don't think is a bad backup. They just haven't gone with that personnel. But they have the 11 personnel. They've ran the RPO. It's just a really interesting chart that I was looking at earlier this morning. And shout out to Bud Davis, the one who put it out there. Really incredible data when you look at it. And go check it out on X after you're done watching this, because I think it's really interesting to look at certain numbers that Virginia has been doing, what they like to do, how they do against man, how they do against zone. Playing much better against the zone, but they're seeing a lot more zone on defense as well. How they're doing with different numbers in the box. So a really interesting chart. If you definitely want to go check it out after you're done this one. With that being said, what have y'all liked the most about this offense coming into this game so far this season? Is it that run game when it's been working, or the pass game, which we'll get into later? But Cam Ross is not playing, and what is it exactly that you guys have been the most favorites of?
So is Cam out
Cam's out
Saturday?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't even realize. I thought he practiced.
We'll get into it later. I have the whole availability report we'll get into.
Well, first of all, that chart you just showed was just a bunch of numbers for me. I can't comprehend that. I'm like no, I'm like that. I enlarged my screen so I could look at it. I'm like that 75-year-old baseball manager. You come down, you tell me analytics say do this. I'd be like, get out of my face. I'm watching the game. It was a bunch of numbers, and they're great for people who are number nerds. But I did nothing for me there. But
Jeff said he goes off Manalytics.
Manalytics, that's right. Passing game. You said, what was your question, Jack, about the passing game?
Yeah,
what have I liked?
What part of this offense have you liked the most coming into this game so far?
Well, I haven't
year?
liked much of it the last 2 weeks. I guess I would say that Chandler Morris has been. I mean, looking at your stat sheet, the one stat that did stand out to me was 4% sacks. He's been upright for most of the season, so the offensive line's protected him. And I know you're going to get to that injury chart, but knowing this week getting Brady Wilson back's a big deal, and you just never know what a big deal that could potentially be to this offense. Those kind of things to this offense might start clicking this week. Getting some guys back. Losing Cam Ross is a big deal, but we have a lot of offensive weapons, so I don't know. I've liked it all equally. What I'd like to see is Chandler Morris be healthy for the entire game, because he hasn't looked healthy for the last couple of weeks at all.
Yeah, I think for me the biggest piece that I've liked is probably just the offensive line's ability to get a yard when we need to get a yard. It's been nice to up until last, like Jeff said, last game or two. 3rd and 1 almost felt like a throwaway down. We could play action and go deep if we wanted to, and it doesn't matter like what yard line you're on. We could be deep in negative territory, like our own 25. If it's 4th and a foot or something, like the game has changed to a point where it's not even a hesitation. Like we're at the 30-yard line, our own 30. All right, well, we're going for it. It's only a yard. We'll get it. And the O-line is delivered big time. And Jamari Taylor has a tendency to fall forward, even when he does get hit early. And so just being able to grind out, I think the drive of the year that will go down in my memory as an all-timer is the one at home against Florida State when they ran the ball. I think it was 11-play drive, and they ran it 10 out of the 11 plays to really grind that second half clock down and get the go-ahead score, and just kind of punishing Florida State. And they kind of tried to do that against Louisville. It didn't work as well, but they did have some success against Louisville. But against everybody, they've just been able to grind out chunks. And as an old school guy who I do love offense and love watching them throw it around, if you can just grind somebody into the ground, there's something about just that physical domination that I enjoy as a football fan.
I 100% agree. I think one thing we need to look out for in this North Carolina game is Virginia to get the run game back going, because it hasn't gotten going the last 2 weeks, like my dad just mentioned. The offense has struggled in general the last 2 weeks. I mean, I know the bye week, but the last 2 games we've played, if you can get this run game going early, get it established, I think Virginia needs to do that. And Xavier Brown's going to be out. We'll get more on that. But, you've still got Jamari Taylor, Harrison Whaley, and Noah Vaughn, who I expect to be fully back in the rotation. He kind of just warmed up, didn't really play much last week. So if you can get that run game going early, I think you shouldn't have trouble, because I think they will move the ball. That's when Virginia is at its best, when they can run the ball for a solid 5 to 6 yards on first down every single time. And then they can run the ball on 3rd and short and get it every time. And that opens up play action. That opens up so much more. So I think that's a really, really important piece of this Wahoo offense, is getting the offense going. On the defensive side of the ball, what do we need to see this week? They've come up really big. They came up really big against Louisville a couple times, and then they came up big when it mattered against Washington State. They've looked a lot better than they did early in the season against some of like Stanford and William and Mary and some of those games. What do we need to see out of them? What have we liked out of them, Jay?
Well, Jeff hit the nail on the head. The key to me is the tackling. I mean, in the games we've played poorly, which I would say Washington State was our worst performance of the year, and then NC State is right behind that. NC State the tackling was atrocious against NC State, and that's why we lost that game ultimately. Now, I think Cam Robinson would have made a huge difference in that game, and I do think we'd have won it had he played. He made the difference against Washington State. I mean, without Cam, we don't win that game, I don't believe. He's healthy. I think he's the difference maker. As Cam goes, this defense will go. As he leads them, the D-line's got to set the tone, can't get pushed around. And to this point, they really haven't been pushed around. They've done a good job. We've had some issues in our secondary, but we seem to be tightening that up. And they seem to be, as good as they are all individually, football being the ultimate team sport, 11 guys coming together, having to be in the right place at the right time and doing all those things as a team, it's not easy. So, Rudd's getting them into gear, and I hope as each game continues to progress, we'll just see a better and better performance. And I'd love to think we could play, 4 really strong quarters consistently as we get into the latter part of the year, where if we keep winning, the stakes keep getting higher every week.
Yeah. And tackling, of course, is number one for me. And then I would like to see us blitz a little bit more. And this is a good week. You got a less than accurate quarterback. Send a little
Yep.
more blitz and try to get him down. I feel like the defense has been in positions to make tackles. We just miss. We just missed a lot of tackles when we've been tackling poorly. That Coastal Carolina game, Ball Hawk was talking about how great the tackling was, and it was. And then you know, NC State was bad. Washington State game was bad. Uh,
Bad in the
don't
first half.
first half. Yep. Um, but you know, I'd like to see us get to the quarterback and bring him down a few times too. So, and we can get that quarterback. Hopefully, we get that pressure on. We bat a ball up in the air again and get a pick, or just a bonehead throw, and we and just create those turnovers.
And I'll say this going to Carolina, I'm almost glad this game's at Carolina rather than a home game. And I say that because the way their season is going, they are absolutely ready to just release the Boo Birds all over the
Yeah.
home team. And if Virginia can get a couple scores early, I think it could get really super ugly, like super ugly, like
Yeah.
we have never seen before against a Carolina team. Ugly, but if you give them hope and you let them get off to a good start, the
Fans
crowd, they hate us. I mean, I can honestly say, and this will be blasphemy to some UVA fans, but I don't hate Carolina. Like Carolina to me they're a rival, but I don't hate Carolina. It's not. To
It's
me,
not like
there is
Virginia.
no rival outside of Virginia Tech. That's just the way I feel. But I know this game means a whole lot to a lot of people that are Virginia fans, and so and vice versa. And like UNC is backed by a lot of old money, kind of like Virginia is backed by a lot of old money. And those old money guys, they look at Virginia
Means something. Yeah.
as being a big game. And so if they come out and lay an egg, oh my God.
I'm the same as you, Jay, but I would say, 25, 30 years ago, I felt differently. It's like the rivalry's kind of gone away. The whole Virginia Tech thing was not there when we
Right.
were teenagers or
Not like it is now.
younger. It was not like it wasn't because we didn't play. I mean, they weren't in the ACC.
They're in the Big
We
East,
pla-
right?
we played them, but it just didn't seem the same to me as it does now. It
Right.
didn't seem as bitter as it does now.
Right.
And North Carolina, and it really stems back to also, early 80s basketball, Ralph Sampson and Michael Jordan's and, James Worthy and old Jeff Jones and the whole crew. And even into the early 90s, that was a big deal to me, at least for sure. When Virginia played North Carolina, if you had a chance to beat them, they were so good, and we were just not quite at their level, but we would beat them every once in a while.
Right.
Going
Going back
the
to
Virginia
those
Tech
Rasheed
thing,
Wallace, Jerry Stackhouse
Oh, yeah.
teams, and then
Yep.
as we talked about with Wally Rayner, that Carolina game in '96, that
Yep.
is one of my favorite games of all time, where we were down 17-3 to a highly ranked Carolina team in the fourth quarter, and they had the ball. They had to do was kick a short field goal, go up 20-3 with about 7 or 8 minutes to go, and they decided to throw it. Mac Brown, dumb decision, calls a pass play, and we
Mac.
take it to the house, and the rest is history.
And I mentioned it last night on the Hill Brothers show, and I had the year wrong. But I was talking about, I was like, I told everybody go to the website, check out your article. I mentioned the wrong year, but I was talking about that game.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that article I wrote back because that was before the season started, I believe. I should see if I can go back and find it and just repost it.
Yeah,
it's a great time to repost that one.
The Carolina rivalry is an interesting talking point. I think you guys make great points. People don't care about it as much now. I'd say I do care about it. I want to beat North Carolina every year. Well, obviously you want to beat every team every year, but I do have a little bit more of a hatred towards Carolina. But it's like that for a lot of schools with Virginia now. You talk about Duke, which is really a basketball rivalry, but in my opinion, over the last few times we've played Duke in football, they've gone a little more higher and higher on my list of, man, I really want to beat that team. Another school, NC State. I don't know what it is, and forget this year. NC State to me has become one of those schools where you really want to beat them. And obviously, you used to have Maryland. Now they're in the Big Ten, so you really don't play them like you used to. There's a lot of those like schools outside of Virginia Tech where people call it a rivalry. Some people really care. A lot of people don't anymore. So I don't know. I still look at it as a rivalry, and I I really hate what North Carolina did to us at home last year. So I really would like to get them back for that. But with that being said, talking about the defense, you made a good point about the pressure, Dad. I'll say this: Virginia did bring a lot of pressure against Washington State. They just didn't get to the quarterback. They were blitzed multiple times. I remember on third downs in the first half, mainly blitzing on third downs, bringing 5 guys, bringing 6 guys, and we just weren't getting pressure. So I think Rudd did bring pressure, and I think he will bring pressure again this week. And I think Virginia will be more successful. This North Carolina offensive line hasn't been the greatest this year. Between Gio Lopez and Max Johnson, they've gone down, I think, a combined 8 times. And I think the defense will hopefully have their way. I think the weakness of this Carolina team, from me watching some highlights against other teams, their defense gets carved up really quick. If they don't make an early stop, that Cal tore them up in the first half, ran the ball through them, passing game was on. I think that's the weakness of this Carolina team.
Well, they only gave up 21 to Cal at Cal.
And they did pick it up in the second half, but the first half was ugly. It was ugly.
Yeah.
It was ugly. And they moved the ball.
Yeah, if they had managed to win that game, I'd be a little more concerned, just because maybe there's a thought, hey, we can still salvage this season, get to a good bowl. We just got to, win these games, yada, yada, yada. But that loss, man, when you fumble right at the goal line,
Season diminishing.
Say again?
Season diminishing, in my opinion.
Yeah, it can be. It could be. We'll see if they're a resilient bunch over there. But, I mean, the thing is, they're going to have really good athletes. Like, you can't take anything for granted. Like, I mean, they are athletically as good as anybody will play. I mean, you don't go to Carolina as an athlete and not be a top-notch kid. So, it all comes down to execution. And, if we execute, we'll win. I really believe that. But, we'll see. I think our guys really play hard for Coach Elliott. I'm not sure that they are playing hard for Coach Belichick.
That's a great point. With that being said, I do want to go ahead and get to the availability report that just came out about an hour and some change ago. Again, it's kind of hard to see. You kind of have to zoom in on your screens to see it fully. The main name that you note, Cam Ross, is out. So no Cam Ross, which is really a blow for this Cavalier offense. I would expect. I don't know.
I think it was, but I thought he was playing. I was talking about him last night as if he was playing, because I knew he practiced earlier in the week. On Tuesday, I think he was practicing.
Elliott mentioned that he was practicing all of this week, so people kind of expected him to play, but he is out. I would expect Cam Courtney to kind of step into that role. Andre Green is out. I don't know. Maybe you see more of Jaden Thomas. There's a couple of those back-end guys, Dylan Newton-Short, that could potentially get in. Isaiah Robinson, for all we know. I think Virginia will be okay. However, it is a blow. Cam Ross is is the most explosive out of all those names I just mentioned. That's the main thing with this. Obviously, Dakota Twitty out. Xavier Brown, we figured he'd be out. And then, Wiggy, we're still waiting on him. A lot of offensive linemen. I mean, every time one of these ACC availability reports come out, it's just comical to me, the size differential between Virginia and whoever they're playing. It's every time, every ACC game. But Mikhail Boley's probable. That's good to see. John Rogers also probable. That's also good to see. So they can run him out there with Say Genus.
What's Wigginton? I cannot read that at all, Jack. So tell me. Can you kind of read through it for people that can't?
Yeah.
And Jay, real quick, and for the listeners, if you full screen your thing, you can read it.
Oh, okay.
It's a little easier. But the names listed as out: Dre Walker, Andre Green, Kevon Gray, Cam Ross, Jamarick Morris, Jam Jackson, Dakota Twitty, Grady Brosterhouse, Xavier Brown, Tristan Ward, Davis Lane Jr., Armstrong Jones, McKillen Thomas, Tyler Simmons, Monroe Mills, Kevin Wigginton, and Trevor Ladd are all out. The two probables are John Rogers and Mikhail Boley.
What's going on with Wigginton? Anybody?
I don't know. A few weeks ago, Elliott said he was close. He'd start practicing soon. There's a
What
lot of those
about
names.
what about Xavier? What did they come out and say this week with what happened with him?
I missed it.
Did
I
y'all
don't
see
really
the
know.
presser?
He's not coming back anytime soon. I don't think. He's going to be done for quite some time. From what I do know, I think maybe a return towards the end of the season, hopefully, but I can't be for sure. But with that being said, Carolina, there's not really any major names that I recognize on their list. But the list I really care about is Virginia's. So the biggest blow by far is Cam Ross, in my opinion. What are y'all's opinions on that? And who do you think is going to step up and step into Cam Ross's role?
I mean, I don't know. They've got plenty of options. So
I'll say this real quick. My thought is the receiving piece can be made up. I think
kick and punt return.
But my gosh, Cam has been so consistent. I don't even worry. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, my whole life, basically, no matter who the punt returner is, every time they kick the ball, I almost just hope just don't even try to catch it.
Yeah, I know. I'm the same.
Because I just know it's gonna hit us and drop, and we're gonna lose possession or be some kind of stupid play like that. But he has been so consistent. He's caught everything. He hasn't given me a reason to think he won't. And so I think that's where you miss, because if you make a special teams blunder, that's a way to lose a game. Like you can't give freebies. And in the past, no matter who the coach has been, we've given special teams freebies. We've tightened that up a lot this year, so credit to the coaching staff for that. But a lot of that credit on the return aspect of it goes to Cam Ross individually. Now the blocking and the quality of the returns, that's coaching, that's blocking, all that. But just the first step of catching the ball, that's Cam, and he's done so well at that. So whoever they put back there, I hope he's got good hands, because that's the most important thing.
Yeah, 100%. With that being said, that's about all we got. I want to get to final score predictions. Not to put y'all on the spot, but I'm putting y'all on the spot. Do you guys have final score predictions?
Well, Jack, one thing while I think of a final score, talk about the 757 commits. We just got another one tonight. So for the people that may not be aware of, if you don't know his name, I can say it. It's just It's Derek Fisher from Bethel.
There you go. Yep.
We got Gene Jones from Hampton High, and Lonnie, is it Andrews?
Lonnie Andrews, yeah.
Yeah, from Oscar Smith. And I saw they were recruiting the big kid from Western Branch on X.
Kumari Hudson.
Yeah, Kumari Hudson. They were telling him just come on home. I'm really excited for that class of 27. I think they could be special, because if you start getting and pulling these 757 guys and guys from around the state, there's a Stonebridge guy that we just offered. I believe it was tonight I saw where we had offered a Stonebridge guy. You start pulling these guys in state. The kid from Penn State, I don't know if he's recommitted or committed anywhere else.
Jazio Hart, not yet.
Yes, but we need to be in on him. We need to be trying to convince all of these guys, you don't have to leave the state to play big-time football. If we could make an ACC championship, make a CFP appearance, my God, what would that do for recruiting? Because they could see, we could play on the national stage and stay home and get the top education possibly in the country, all in one place. I mean, why wouldn't you go there? Why would you not go there? So big news there. And so hats off to the staff, Coach Elliott and staff, for recruiting so well.
You have a final score prediction?
I'm going to let Jeff go. I got to think while he talks.
You need me to go first, Ed, since you're scared of...
Go ahead. I'll be in. I've given a final score prediction actually last night on the Hill brothers. So, and I'm gonna just stick with it.
I'm gonna go. Virginia's gonna win this game. I think the offense gets back on track.
52, 54?
No, not quite that back on track. I'm gonna go Virginia. Man, I always struggle picking a winning number. I'm gonna say Virginia 37, North Carolina 14.
Ooh, they're back on track.
Yeah.
I had Virginia 31-20.
Daggone it. I gotta switch my score. I had 31-23, but I don't want to have the exact number.
See, so it's not just me. It's not just me.
I'll go 28-20, Virginia.
So you got Carolina covering, and Jack and I have Virginia covering.
If the line is 10, yes.
The line is 10.5. It was
10.5.
9.5. It's up to 10.5.
Okay. Yeah,
so,
I just think, you know,
but I think it's going to be. I think halftime. We're very nervous at halftime,
yeah.
and then we pull away in the fourth, and it's a one score game. If for mine to happen or a one score game and we score a field goal, tack on a field goal late, and go up 2 scores, and kind of put the game away.
I really feel like, and I get the concern with this game because I feel it a little bit too. I don't know what it is. I really feel like Virginia's going to have their way early in this game, kind of like how you mentioned, Jay. If they get on the board quick and kind of suck the soul not only out of the team but out of the crowd, have the students leave after the first quarter, it just feels like one of those kind of games, in my opinion.
It's just and Jack,
possible.
Jack, you should know this too because you're 19 years old now, but 40-some years worth of being burned, you can't get it out of your brain. When you
Mhm.
get ultra excited about a situation, and I thought last Saturday was the week the letdown had happened to us.
Yeah, that
but it didn't.
28-20, I'm picking that with the thought that we're going to be sweating a drive. We'll end the game with a kneel down, but it'll be after a 4th down and goal probably.
Well, we could be in
Maybe a
a
pump
could be in a
goal.
28 could be in a 28-26 situation as they get the touchdown going for 2 to tie it.
Don't say it.
Oh boy.
I'd rather it be
Yeah.
28-26 than 27-26 and Belichick rolling the dice. Those
Oh,
are
I
the
know
ones
it.
that really I hate it when they go for 2 down 1.
I know it. I know
Yeah.
it. Hey Jack, real quick too before we go, I want to just real quick, two guard, if you're out there
Yeah.
and you're listening, reach out to Jack or Jay or myself on X, because we can't
We can't get
communicate
hold of
to
you.
you. We'd like to shoot you a message, but we can't.
We're not
Because our
premium on X except for the Cavalier Connection, which is
Suspended.
obviously suspended. So
And we can't
we've been
message well.
suspended.
So, yeah, two guard, give us a message for sure. That's going to wrap us up tonight. Go check out thecavalierconnection.com. My preview article will be up there either tonight or tomorrow morning of this UVA UNC game, so you can learn a little bit more about the Tar Heels and Mr. Gio Lopez. They're rolling out at quarterback, the lefty quarterback. That's another thing. Virginia's got to prepare for a lefty quarterback, and you can read up all about that, as well as our NFL picks will be in there before too long, and all the coverage you could ever need to go check out the Cavalier Connection.
Leader in the house. I'm just going to say that. After the 0-3 week 1, leader in the house.
There you go. Jay's leader in the house. And also check out Saturday afternoon, I guess you could say, from Chapel Hill. Myself and my father will be there, and hopefully we'll be going live post-game from the field like I did this previous Saturday. So that'll be good as well. We'll get more coverage. You get our initial reactions, our thoughts. And that's going to wrap us up tonight. With that being said, go Hoos.
Go Hoos.
Go Hoos.